Hold on, y'all. Got to make a quick phone call. Just a second. Oh, pick up already. No answer and no voicemail. You ever call someone and they just did not pick up the phone? That can be so frustrating because you got something good to say. I got something good to say, and they just didn't answer the phone. Well, that's our topic today in day 8 in our series, Get Wisdom. Hello, everybody. Mr. Brown here with day 8 of our series, Get Wisdom. As it says in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. And all you're getting, get insight. And so that's what we're in this treasure hunt to dig out some nuggets of wisdom. Now, as we talk about chapter 8, verse 1, let me read what it says to you first of all. It says this: does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. And as I've been studying this and looking back at some videos and some other resources that I really like, again, I'm going to talk about the Bible Project. I did a whole little video, actually did a podcast on it, just a little intro to their video on the book of Proverbs. But if you go to the website, the Bible Project /explore/Proverbs, you will see this page right here. And I'll put the link in the notes in the podcast and on the website and on YouTube. That's where all the places we're putting this. So check it out. If you look at this website here, they got a lot of information I think is really good for Proverbs. Not only do they have one video that's talking about Proverbs, they have actually 2. One of them is about the wisdom series. Talks about all 3 of the wisdom books: Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. It talks about all 3 of those and how they kind of fit together. And so looking at the outline they give, I really like this part with milestones. So they start with saying the purpose of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs contains sayings and riddles featuring wisdom, applied knowledge that helps every person develop practical skills to live well in God's world. I like that. It's kind of like what I say: live well. You choose well to live well. You want to live well, you choose well. Or when you make better choices, you live better life. I think it's all about living well, and it comes down to choices. And Proverbs give you some ideas for that. But they talk about how it begins with the fear of the Lord. One of the milestones they say: the journey of wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. I had to practice that word, a reverential and healthy respect of him. Only then can we embrace a moral mindset. Then this general insight has really been helpful because they kind of break down the book of Proverbs as chapters 1 through 9, where they say it's an introduction and kind of some poems from wisdom and from the letters to the son. And then 10 through 29, I believe they break it down and say those are like the Proverbs, different Proverbs. And then the ending is 2 little poems. So they say here, 10 speeches from a father and 4 poems from Lady Wisdom show us Proverbs as God's own invitation to learn wisdom from previous generations. So that's kind of where this is. And so the reason I kind of say that, because sometimes you can read the verses or read the Bible and just assume who's speaking. Like, okay, you read this verse and, oh, that's God speaking. And in this case, it was the author, the father, the son. And I'm interested why he doesn't just say, they don't say it's Solomon. I believe it may be Solomon, but I know some other the Proverbs were attributed to other writers, but we believe that Solomon was the guy who was the most wisest man in the world. And he kind of like the granddaddy of wisdom. I don't know how to put that, but I like this 10 speeches idea, and the idea that Lady Wisdom is personified as a person. Wisdom is not a lady, but they take wisdom and kind of give it this female voice. And as I mentioned before, one of my other resources I really like is Bible.is. And if you listen to Bible.is, dramatized version, English Standard Version, they give this Lady Wisdom a voice and she's speaking. But here's the point I want to bring up. Our verse, again, is chapter 8, verse 1, which says, I'm keep looking here because it's right here, which is really cool. So you can check this out on Instagram. Another plug for Instagram, Proclaim Ministries, Instagram. You get these photos right here. Anyway, does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? Proverbs 8:1. Now, when I think about that, the idea that someone is calling, wisdom is calling your name. Will you pick up the phone and answer? Wisdom is there. And it's interesting because Solomon, or the writer, was saying to his son, hey, you need to get this wisdom. Get this wisdom. And so Lady Wisdom says, does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice on the heights besides the way? I think this is actually the father father writing. At the crossroads, she takes her stand. Besides the gate in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals, she cries aloud. Now, wisdom, verse 4, wisdom begins to speak. To you, O men, I call, and my cry is to the children of men. O simple ones, learn prudence. O foolish, learn sense. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips I will come what is right. For my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. So this is kind of wisdom saying, hey, listen to me. I got some good stuff to say. The father's telling the son, hey, does not wisdom call out? You need to listen. It is ringing your phone. They didn't have phones back then. But the idea is that wisdom is calling out for you. You need to hear. And I think we need to listen to that as well. Wisdom is calling for you. It wants to teach you. It wants to lead you. But are you listening to wisdom? And I think reading the book of Proverbs could be a great way to gain some wisdom as we get into chapters 9 through 29 or 10 through 29. Those little pithy sayings, those little sharp, short sayings that will help us in life. Now, we read some earlier in here as well, but there'll be more as we continue to study. And so the idea is that wisdom is calling and say, hey, here I am. Hey, pick up your phone. Listen to me. I got something to say to you, and I'm going to speak truth to you. And what's so interesting, I can't remember what verse it is. I've been reading this and listening to it a lot lately. I may be in this chapter where it says, even the Lord used wisdom to build the world, that to create everything. God used wisdom. I think that's amazing. So we need this wisdom, and it's so rich. So please take time to read chapter 8 for yourself, but understand wisdom is calling, knocking on your door, ringing your phone, texting you, whatever's got to do. Wisdom say, hey, I'm right here. Listen. And I think it's kind of interesting as I studied some other commentaries and stuff. I was reading through this. One commentary kind of pits chapter 8 against chapter 7, where it says it was the woman calling out, the prostitute, the wayward woman calling out, and compare that calling out to wisdom, Lady Wisdom calling out. Which will you listen to? And the rest of the book of Proverbs really is about the foolish and the wise. Are you going to follow the foolish ways and folly, or are you going to follow wisdom, the wise way to live life? Because when you make better choices, you will live a better life. So embrace wisdom, because wisdom is calling out for you. It's calling out for me. Embrace it. Get into this book and make sure whatever you get insight. But let's start with getting some wisdom. So get wisdom. Please read the rest of chapter 8. It is amazing, but I'll read the verse one more time. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? The answer is yes. Listen up. Get some wisdom. Oh, yeah.